thanks to the support as a channel member, Nick Collard. See, I told you I'd turn everything around. Long unbeaten run, lots of wins. All is good in the world. What do you mean if I check the bank balance? You sign all of the youth players on £25 a week contracts for 4 years. And we're now massively over our wage budget and I can't sign any more players. And I need to sell the whole first team. Excellent. Hello and welcome to part 5 of Holiday Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our final 2 games of the season. We're at home against Gandia and away against air conditioning Torellano. We've been in really... I thought this was all supposed to be super duper positive. As you can see from the league table, we've had a huge recovery since you were last with me. We've played like 8, 9, 10 games. We've not lost any of them. There was that 5-0 win that we had at the end of the last episode. And since then, the combination of the change to the 4-3-3, winning a couple of games back-to-back, the friendly, and then the game against the team that are rubbish. We did a team meeting around then as well. We also closed the game for the night and reopened it. I don't think that's had any impact, but all of those things combined have just put us into good form mode. And as you can see, we have turned into a good team. Ignacio Pearce, turns out he's quite good after all. He's been in great form. Ivan Fakal, our captain, our star man, has been in incredible form. He's had a couple more wonder goals that, if you want to see them, you have to check over on lollujo 2. They'll all be over there. I can't remember which games they were scored in, but they certainly will be in the highlights videos over on lollujo 2. And yeah, we've been in really, really good form. Started to climb back up the league. Starting to put some plans in place for what was going to be happening next season. As you can see, we've continued to bring players in. Danny Cara came in and was a difference maker in midfield. 4 goal contributions from 8 matches. And we've signed a defender called Nandi. Both of those two were just until the end of the season, just to fill gaps in the squad. Koulibaly, this guy's come in for next season. We haven't actually played him yet. He's only just signed. But we've brought him in. And we did accidentally sell Ivan Faranos. There is no explanation for how he ended up leaving. I just accepted an offer, not realising. It was the Ivan problem. I accepted an offer, not realising which Ivan he was. I understand you maybe don't remember which Ivan he was. He was one of... I don't understand either, Siri. This was one of the Ivans who was actually starting at centre-back for me. And we've accidentally let him go on a free transfer. But he didn't want to renew his contract anyway, so it's not a huge loss. But everything was looking really good. We then got our youth intake. You can tell this story's going somewhere. We then got our youth intake, and we got a couple of decent players come out of the youth intake. If we have a look at the youngsters that we've got here, we've got, most of them have been nabbed by naming the game channel members, but we've got Andrew McRobbie, decent looking left winger. We've got Russ Eddy, decent looking left back. We've got Alex Boxall, who's a decent looking central midfielder, and a couple of other 5-star potential youngsters in there as well. We actually signed a lot of our youth intake. So that's what you do. You get a decent youth intake, you sign a lot of them. And then you go to sign a young goalkeeper from Barcelona, who is going to change all your fortunes around, and you realise inexplicably you're over £1,000 a week over your wage budget. And you panic and you're like, oh, how has that happened? And then you realise that every single one of those youth players who's just come in is on a £25 a week contract for, the next 4 years, 3 or 4. Yeah, that's ballsed everything up. That's ruined everything to the point where our committed spending is almost maxing out next season's projected wage budget. So the summer that we were planning on having, we're basically going to have to integrate some of these young players, and we can maybe sign 1 or 2 first teamers. And there's going to be other players leaving. We've still got a number of first team players who are out of contract this summer. So even after all of the, I don't know why it's messed up my my view again. Hold on. So even after all these guys have left, So even after all of them have left, and you've got regular starters in there, you've got Milanese, you've got Quay, Ferris, Ocon, Jorge, who's already agreed a deal with another club. Regular loan players. Pequez scored 13 goals this season. Even after all those guys that have left, we've only got £400 a week spare in our wage budget because of those youth players who were on long contracts. There's going to be some wheeler dealing coming up in Monday's video, that's for sure. But for now, we're not going to worry about any of this. We are worried only about finishing in the top half of the table. We are currently 9th. We would like to finish 8th. We can't get to 7th, I don't think, but we'd like to move up to 8th. So we've got to win. We've just got to try and win these last couple of games. Mrs. Wearmouth, by the way, absolutely furious that we've messed up the wage budget thing, but luckily we're distracting her with the league table every time she brings it up. It's fine. So this is the team for the game against Gandia, who are in 4th place in the league, but worth noting, we have beaten Alicante and Torrent, who were 1 and 2 in the table when we beat them. We're in such good form that we don't fear anybody at the moment, so fingers crossed. All will be good. We're just going to shuffle this midfield around to how we want it. There we go. So we're going with Floric in goal. On debut, Koulibaly at left back. Nandi and Ivan with Ferris make up the rest of the back four. And then we've got Quay as a playmaker at the base of the midfield. Serrano and Kara ahead of him. Ocon on the left, Fakal on the right, and Pearce, a rejuvenated Ignacio Pearce, who does have a contract for next season. Playing up front. Fakal also on a contract for next season as well. So we've got a few of the key players are on contract for next year, and we're just going to have to fill up the rest of the squad with young players and loans, see if we can find any really, really cheap free transfers, and then we've just got to get promoted next season. This form that we're in now, we need to carry that through to next season and make sure we get promoted, because I think if we have to do a 3rd year in this league with another youth intake coming in, we're going to be financially ruined and probably in a position where no matter what comes through the youth system, we're not going to be able to sign any of them, which would be heartbreaking. Pearce rounds the goalkeeper very, very calmly, maybe a little too calm, because he's gone round the goalkeeper there and then forgot to have a shot, and it ends up going out for a goal kick, which is a little bit unfortunate. But we have a free kick here. It's Kara to take from deep, swings it in, looking for Nandi at that far post, but it's dealt with relatively comfortably, and Gandia are looking to get the ball clear. But Koulibaly, the debut boy, whacks it forward again, looking for Pearce. Doesn't get anywhere near him. He's going to have to do a little bit better than that to justify the incredibly high salary that we've now realised we're paying him. £230 a week, I think he's on, which if I'd have realised what was happening with the youth contracts, I wouldn't have signed him. I'm so upset that we didn't get the goalkeeper from Barcelona. I realise I haven't even shown you him. I don't want to. It breaks my heart too much. And just know that he was a 19-year-old goalkeeper with a real face who'd been released by Barcelona, and he was willing to join us on a £50 a week contract. We had everything agreed. And then as I was about to confirm it, the board refused to let it happen because we were so far over our wage budget. That's never happened. 25 years of playing Football Manager, that had never happened to me before. I'd never had a wage budget just go so out of control so quickly without me realising it had happened. But happen it did, and because, of course, this is the saver, I thought it'd be a good idea to do all the in-betweeny bits live. It all happened live on Twitch, so that's why you should be watching the Twitch streams, or if you can't get to the Twitch streams live, the highlights on lollujo 2. The highlight of that happening is already on lollujo 2. Came out this morning, so you can go and check that out if you want to see my reaction in real time. I was sad and upset and didn't know what was going on for several minutes while I tried to work out what had happened, and I'm still reeling from it a little bit now. Right, Ferris plays it forward to Fakal. Fakal has been brilliant, by the way, in the run that we've had. He actually came out as well. We haven't had a player come out as gay in a YouTube save for a long while. I don't think I've ever had it happen in the first season before, but we got that with Fakal. Unfortunately, because we're in the 5th tier, we didn't get the big song and dance show telling you about the all the extra money that you're going to get coming in because of the media attention and stuff. He kind of came out and the rest of the world just carried on going about their business and nothing happened. So we didn't get the usual off-the-pitch financial boosts, but it did coincide with a massive uptake in his form. So clearly he's enjoying playing with a little bit more freedom, just going out there, being our captain, our team leader, our best player, and the catalyst behind this run of form we're in, which is all lovely stuff. What's less lovely is the fact that we're losing. We haven't lost a game since the last episode. It's almost like a reversal of yesterday's video where we hadn't won in between the episodes. And people have said for years how it's very convenient how I have this run of form off camera and then I come into the videos and, it's very convenient. This is completely different form now, Kev. Well, now you're seeing that it really does work like that, because if you want to, the option is there to see everything. Will you shut up, Siri? That's twice in this video. Goodness me. We've got an injury to Pierce as well, so Pekes is coming on, possibly for the last time. Although if Pierce has got a proper injury, there's a lot of peas coming out of my mouth here. Pekes will perhaps start in the next game, although really we should probably start Vidal, because Pekes won't be here next year, so we won't be able to afford to keep him around. Right, swap them around, and we've still got one more stoppage after this, so let's go attacking. Let's offer some encouragement. Gandia is still in with a chance of automatic promotion, actually. In fact, I don't know what kind of collapse has happened with Holme Espanyol, but they were like 8 points clear at one point, and now they are in with it. There's a genuine possibility that they don't get promoted, which I guess is a bad thing for us because of how dominant they've been this season. We kind of want them out of the way so they don't dominate again in the coming season, but it doesn't seem to be working out for them at the moment. And Gandia very much pushing to try and push Holme Espanyol and Elche B, so Spanish, out of the equation. But it looks like we have picked up our first defeat in. It's got to be our first defeat in 8 or 9 games. The run of good form has been as long as and as impressive as the run of terrible form was that we were in the run up to the last episode. One other thing you might notice as well is you can now see the player numbers on the home kit. I made a little bit of a mistake setting the save up. Request a kit is a hero and has provided new versions of the kits off the back of my mistake setting the save up. So if you want the updated versions of the kits, I've updated the download link that's in the description to the video. And also, if you've been struggling to get the database or any of the graphics in that pack up and running, I've updated all of the ID numbers and I've put a set of instructions in there. It should all be very simple to follow the instructions and literally just drag a couple of files and folders across. I've told you where to put them. It should be very easy to do now. If you have any further problems, let me know in the comments section, but it should all be fully updated, fully working, and it is down there in the comments section for you to download now. But that is our first defeat in forever. Pierce has twisted his knees. He's going to miss the last day of the season. Vidal's forgotten how to score a goal. Well, let's go play our last day of the season then, I guess. In 2 weeks' time. These games in the last couple of months have been very spread out. Pierce might actually be fit, which I guess would be nice. Well, a couple of weeks have passed, so Pierce is fit-ish to play, but we have had offers come in for other players, and there's just nothing we can really do to stop it now because of the financial mess that we've got ourselves into. So Joel Ocon, who is a player who, as the season's gone on, has become more and more important to us. Bit of an assist machine, but we just can't afford it. They all want pay rises. We can't afford his current contract, never mind a pay rise. So he's probably going to be leaving. Emilio Fernandez is another one who, I mean, he's only started 10 games, I think, for us. So, yeah, we just can't afford to offer him £200 a week. Mark Ferris wants a contract, but wants a contract at £375 a week. We cannot be doing pay rises for anybody. And, yeah, there's going to be not much of this squad left when we come to Monday's transfer special. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what we end up with. But let's get this last game of the season done. Hopefully end on a high. We'd like to end with a win. The form that we've been in, it would be nice for you to see us. It'd be nice for you to be able to see this version of the team playing as well as I know they can play. We still have an outside chance of finishing in the top half in 8th place. But we want Fakal to look great. We want Pierce to look great. We want Ocon to have a moment. Cara, Serrano, these boys are all out of contract or going back to their parent clubs in the summer. We're going to have to build an entirely new midfield. So it would be nice for you to just see how good this team was when it clicked briefly. Apparently, the game has got other ideas and we are now officially out of good form mode. And I imagine, partly because of the financial mess, that kind of thing does have an impact on player morale, club atmosphere, that kind of thing. They'll see Mrs. Wearmouth and me squabbling in the corridors, me waving her away. Doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm sorting it. And them all knowing that means there's contracts not getting renewed. There's players going to be leaving. It's taken the shine off of this second half of the season, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it does make for an interesting transfer special tomorrow as I try and fix the problem that I've created. And the only logical way to fix it is to integrate as many of these young players into the first team squad as I possibly can. But we are limited on players we can register in the first team. I'm still not 100% on the rules. I think under 18s don't need to be registered, but outside of that, you are only allowed a squad of 22. But I guess most of the new ones will be under 18 anyway, so it should be fine. It's bottom line, Monday is close to unmissable because I've got to unpick a pickle, and that's always makes for good viewing. And Pearce has just missed a big chance. He wasn't missing those before he signed his new contract. I hope he's not one of those who only plays well when he's playing for a contract, because he now has one for next year. He got a pay rise. He happened. His pay rise, his new contract happened before the youth intake happened, and I thought I had money to play with. Oh, how young I was. And so we gave him a pay rise, and Fakal got a pay rise, and I think Ivan got a pay rise, Floric got a pay rise, all with contract extensions and pay rises. So a lot of the key players did get tied down. There is Pearce, and I don't know if you could class that as rounding the goalkeeper or kind of colliding with the goalkeeper and ending up fortuitously with the ball at your feet. Either way, he ended up with nothing between him, the ball, and the goal, and I guess you have to give him the credit for that. It is the ball forward to Pearce. The goalkeeper kind of clears it into Pearce. It bobbles free to him, and he is there to just tuck it away into the open goal. And I think that makes him joint top scorer with Pequez now, which, I mean, he's played far more games than Pequez, but fewer games in this role that seems to be working better for him as a poacher. He did play the first more than half of the season playing as a target man, which in the end didn't really seem to work for him. He was never scoring goals and wasn't great. I was done with him. By Christmas, I was done with Pearce. He has changed my mind over the second half of this season. And like I say, it'd be nice for you to see him at his best. So let's have a proper goal. We need to get the ball out wide to Fakal and have him do one of his wonder crosses to Pearce. It's kind of become our trademark, and I'd love for you to be able to see one. Serrano now, looking for options, just gives it back to Koulibaly, who slides it forward looking for Pearce, but doesn't find him. But Ocon is there to intercept, and there's the ball over the top for Pearce, who controls it beautifully, and his shot smashes into the crossbar and goes over. But that would have been a lovely way to take the lead and move up into the top half of the table in the final moments of the season. Koulibaly with the cross now. Quay nods it down. There's Fakal, and there is his 7th goal of the season. He only scores screamers, although that one was from inside the area. Goodness me, he hit it like he was 40 yards out, and that is a lovely goal, a lovely team goal from the set piece. Koulibaly with the cross. Quay's got forward, nods it down, and Fakal just, I mean, he's burst the football there. We've had to go and get a new one from the nearest sports goods emporium because of how hard he's kicked that one. You'd think the ball had offended him. He hit it so hard. Right, we're making a few changes in here as we approach the final 20 minutes or so of the game. In fact, we should probably take Pearce off because he was recovering from an injury. So it's an opportunity to get Vidal onto the pitch for the final 20 minutes or so. He's another one who we need to start making some decisions about. He doesn't seem to be living up to the promise he showed early in the season. Thankfully, he is only costing us £10 a week. So as some of the more expensive players around him depart, he probably starts to move back up the pecking order again. He's probably going to be back up to Pearce for this coming season. I don't know that we'll bring Pequez or an equivalent in again for next season. We'll probably go with Vidal as the backup and try and pull someone else up out of the youth team as a third striker option. If we're only playing with one up top, I think we only need 3 strikers in the squad, and one of them should be a young kid who shouldn't expect to play very much. Jorge is in his final appearance. He's already agreed a move to leave the club. Koulibaly trying to get the cross in but can't beat his defender, and it goes back to the goalkeeper. Are we up in the top half of the table at the moment? I blooming hope we are. We're in 8th as it currently stands. Don't balls it up from here, boys. Ivan plays it forward, looking for Vidal, doesn't get anywhere near him. I mean, that's not fair, actually, on the ball forward, because it's Vidal who was a bit rubbish there. Fakal trying to do it all on his own, plays it into the path of Milanese, and that's potentially a final goal for the club for Milanese as well. He's another one who's out of contract. I'm choking up thinking about it. Another one who's out of contract who we're probably not going to be able to afford to keep, but Fakal showing just how good he can be, just absolutely taking the defenders out of the equation altogether. Lovely work from Fakal. And now that should be enough for us to finish the season in the top half of the table. I guess there are things that could go on in other games that could push us back down. It doesn't really mean anything other than a pride thing. We would like to be in the top half of the table. I think it's a good sign of where we're planning to be next year, because we're definitely looking for a promotion year next year. And Jorge with the shot that goes straight at the goalkeeper, but we have won a corner off the back of it. And now we're just gonna bring Camino on for Koulibaly. We'll bring Fernandez on for Ferris, just to freshen up the fullbacks. I don't think I paused there. There's a corner going on. Vidal is rubbish, isn't he? Oh my word, he's not very good at all. We might have to rethink the Vidal experiment. Is it too late to take him off that thumbnail from a few days ago? Because I don't think he deserves it anymore. Right, Milanese on the left-hand side. We've got two men forward here. Vidal is coming through the middle. I was going to take it all back if he'd have scored there, but it's just such a heavy touch. I don't think he's going to make it. He's not very good, is he? Oh, bless him. He's just not very good. He looks out of place in this team. We're hoping to be pushing for promotion next season. I think he probably... if he was earning more than £10, I'd look to move him on. Maybe he should be the third striker, like he is effectively this season. And maybe we do need to draft somebody in to offer some competition to Pierce. Whether we're going to be able to afford to do that or not, of course, I have no idea. And there's Vidal, only his third goal of the season, but is that him proving me wrong? It's been ruled out for offside. No, that's me being proven right. How far offside was he? Quite offside. He's not good enough. I think decisions have been made there about him today. And I think I've just seen we've moved back down to 9th place, which is a crying shame. A mid-table finish rather than a top half finish. What a difference a goal somewhere else can make to how our season has officially turned out. That was poor from them. And now Milanese plays it over the top, looking for Vidal again. In fact, it's looking for Fakal on this right-hand side. And yeah, it didn't get anywhere near him. This is very, very scrappy now. I don't really know why we're seeing this highlight. It's a weird, scrappy one where not really very much is going on. Camino plays it forward to Milanese. There is Vidal again. Is he offside again? Or is this one actually going to count? I think this one does actually count. It's 4-1. I said I wanted you to see us at our best, and you're seeing that today. This is how we've been playing pretty much since we switched to the 4-3-3. It's been a real difference-making system for us. And that's a decent finish from Vidal. I don't know why he doesn't do that a little bit more often. But that does put us into the top half of the table. And I think we have managed at the death to nick an 8th place finish, which is absolutely lovely. Top half home. Hey, there you go, look. Next year, we're getting promoted. There's nothing you can do to stop it from happening. Apart from this transfer window that we've now got to go through, which I'm sure will be fine. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.